the beginning of like the major world conflict, which was the trenches. That's still something that we've seen within Ukraine. You know,
a bit of a return to trench warfare, but
yeah,
as a necessity to outmaneuver drones.
It really is like, and it's like again, when you're because of the technology that we've reached to, you can put like thermal cameras and drones. And there are so few things that you can actually do to hide from thermal vision. Like it's not like you just put on like a uniform and be like, oh, this is now going to hide you. It's like, no, you need like a sheet in front of you that you will never touch. And it probably can still be picked up on different cameras as they switch along. So that can be done quite easily. So trenches again are a thing that they return to, and just like putting sheets and dirt over it is something that you could do. And even then, like it's something that I think, oh, what are they called again? Sorry, I'm not well versed in remembering the names.
That's right.
It's a sect of people that were persecuted by the Turkish. They want independence around the Middle East.
Or the Kurds.
Kurds, thank you very much. Yeah, because there was one guy I followed, or not followed, but like I got interested in for a period where he talks about like he went as a foreign fighter to fight for the Kurds. He went and fought for Ukraine, and he discusses like what is modern warfare actually like today. Because let's be real, most Western countries do not actually engage in modern warfare. It's always proxy. Well, outside of like US jumping into the Middle East and going, "What's up?" We haven't really seen that, and even then, again, the US Army is a separate thing that we can discuss later. But what this guy was discussing was that the Kurds were basically living underground. Their entrances would be very well hidden, like you would not be picking them up from aerial views. Like they put that up, and they had nets on so that before you stepped out of the safety of the caves, you would always look up and be like, okay, are there drones in the sky that you could see? Because there would be very clear contrast, especially on clear blue sky days. You know, it's like, oh, look, there's pixels missing up there. I'm not going outside. And if you are going outside, I am wearing something to cover my face, because the face recognition software has not gotten to the point where it can differentiate that you are wearing a scarf. Which is also something tangent that we are seeing in the UK that they've been trying to get a lot of use of, facial recognition software. Which lovely. I mean, I get it, but again, it's one of those things of like, I think it's a bit overkill, but well, but that's what we're dealing with these days. So you've got aerial drones, super high tech, but the moment you can step boots in the ground, it's like the men crave the trenches. They desire the trenches. The trenches yearn for them, and they return, calling like a siren in the depth of the ocean. Those men will diggy hole. Sorry. I've had that joke ever since we began this entire conversation, and I needed to build up toward it.
Dude, okay, so that is some humor level stuff there that if I was wearing a hat would be off to you.
Thank you.
That's some shit that I would try to pull right there.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
I've learned what the audience here craves.
Or at least the other panelists.
Well, hey, and yeah, I was going to say, and in this instance, I'm part of that audience because hey, yeah. I like that humor.
Yeah, I will say the war in, as bad as it sounds, the war in Ukraine has been really good for our industry as well, because a lot of the Nordic countries are now wanting to buy the Bushmaster from us, because there have been a lot of casualties of the Bushmasters getting destroyed by drones. But do you know what hasn't been destroyed when the drones have taken out the vehicle?
The engine?
The people.
Oh.
The people keep surviving. and Ukraine has been showing that off. And now Switzerland, I think Denmark, and I think Finland have all expressed interest in buying the Bushmaster from us as a personnel carrier.
So my limited understanding, like whenever like the Ukraine war comes up in Denmark, and I'm going to be very biased there because I'm quite proud of what Denmark's been doing, because Denmark's gone in with the whole thing of like, okay, we're fully backing it. We're not just doing financial backing. We have opened up our borders to let refugees in, as you should. We've also then arranged for actual training to be done. Something that one of my brothers, who's in the army as a sergeant, has actually participated in that and trained up not just infantry, but they've also trained up NCO, so sergeants and the like. Although my brother has given some criticism towards the Danish government because basically he was like, we could have done better. Like the personnel that was sent there didn't take it as seriously as he did. So he was like, well, I'm going to give them top-notch training because we should be doing that. So he wrote a, well, I don't know what, I know he basically like told the internal people like, what have we actually done here? Like we could have done better. Like I know we have the resources. So we're doing that, but we've then also given contracts to Ukrainian businesses to basically set up weapons manufacturing, which again employs Danish personnel. It boosts up the Danish economy. Yes, there's a level of like war profiteering there. I'm not going to deny that, but it is also providing actual armaments for a cause that Denmark as a nation said we are supporting this side. You know, that's the end of that. I wouldn't be surprised if there are Danish, because I know there are Danish volunteers. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like, well, there's always special forces on any conflict like that being involved. So
Sorry, that just reminded me of our press a couple of months ago. Right before it was properly announced that the E7 Wedgetail had been sent over to the Middle East as part of a defense pact with the UAE to assist with their defense efforts to shoot down incoming drones and missiles and whatnot. The press was carrying on for almost 2 weeks. Oh, have our special forces been deployed to the Middle East? Oh, our special forces aren't at their normal bases. Have they been deployed? Where are they? And every time, like the defense minister was like, I've already said this. We don't talk about where the deployments of our forces are as a, security for their benefit as well as just national security points. We don't tell you. Stop asking. Yeah. This is ridiculous. Except, here's the funny part, right? Anyone with half a brain would know that after a certain amount of time, especially after conflicts, information is released. You can go back quite literally 40 fucking years and see if there's a conflict in an area, if there's an Australian embassy in the area, we send our special forces so that they can be evacuated if needed, because our special forces are really good. But the press is carrying on like, they're going over to support the US troops, and it's like, no. There's still an ambassador in Iran. If shit goes sideways, we're going to evacuate him and his family and the staff. They're not there to help. I apologize. The Seppos, okay? Fuck them. Fuck their illegal war. They're not there for that. They're there to get the ambassador out.
Yeah. Because I know Denmark, I'm only going back to like the war on terror when that's initiated. And I know that there was a big debate in the Danish parliament where it's like, right, we've deployed X amount of soldiers, we've done this. Our mission parameters are to go in and actually do like societal rebuilding, provide security, establish schools, like do all of these things, ensure that we then train up personnel to speak Arabic. So, again, weird as it sounds, Denmark's approach to war has been very humanitarian. Like, yes, we will engage in the conflict, but it's very much like we're not here to actually like seize and hold ground. Like, clearly there are better people than that. We're here to then turn around and be like, okay, we're here to provide you security. We're here to, do this, to assist in the building of this and like bridge differences. I'm not saying that we are the best at this, but like that's the focus I understand that we've tried to approach. So because we've got 2 special forces, the equivalent of like the SEALs, which funnily enough are called frogmen. I love
yes,
that.
I know. I love that.
It's the funniest thing. Like, again, like the whole thing of like, oh, we've got SEALs. They're like vicious and like they do this. And like, actually, they're cuddly and very nice. We've got the frog people who are just amphibious and will devour anything that you put in front of them. That's like, make up your mind. And then we've got the Jaeger Corps, the hunting corps, or the hunters corps.
That's not fair. That is one of the coolest names ever.
But like it's
because
not
everyone knows what Jaeger means now, and so when you say the Jaeger Corps, or the Ubermarsch for fucking Germans, everyone knows. Oh, Uber, oh, Jaeger, oh, well, that is just now the coolest now, isn't it?
It is cool. It's a cool thing.
When I heard the term Jaeger for the first time, it was in the movie Pacific Rim.
Yeah,
I heard it in a bar.
That's where
first.
I got.
I heard it in a bar first.
In a bar?
Yes. Jägermeister.
Oh, well, okay, yeah, Jägermeister, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, continue.
But I mean, in regards to being related to a big giant mech, that's where I heard it first, and I had played a lot of Warhammer 40K, and I don't remember ever hearing that term in that game. But
no, they don't. It's not used in there. But that's I will put the fault. No, they don't use it.
You were playing the wrong game. BattleTech has a Jaeger mech.
Yeah. BattleTech, yes, but Warhammer has a weird thing of like they want to do pseudo German and Latin, but except they go the J.K. Rowling's route of they just make shit up. They don't even do the research. They just make things up. Which fine, like I'm not gonna get mad at it. Like I'll probably do the same. But I'm like, okay, can't even do that. Yeah, I know, right, Seraphis? Oh no.
Are you saying the Brits made something up? I would never have guessed. When have they ever done such a thing?
Seraphis, you know what offends me the most? The thing that offends me the absolute most is when people who do not, again, I'm not going to say I am a brilliant person when it comes to the army, but I understand that, like, when you say a regiment, it's going to be X amount of people. They can't even get that right. When they write a major event, and I'm just going to take, like, a small one, like the Siege of Rax, something where they were promoting all these things, and they even got the cool-ass Deathcore Krieg in, and they went, hi, let's actually go through the numbers of how big they are. And you go through it and go, the size of what you said these regiments are. You've given me numbers. I'm going to go through the numbers and apply that for every single one that you said there. You still fall short of the grand number you said of how many people were deployed. So where's the difference? Why is the math not mathing? Why is there a massive gap of yay big proportions of missing people? And if you say that the administratum apparently can't do their own math right, then my follow-up question to you is, how did this get published? Can't even keep your own in-law accuracy. Absolute disgraceful. Well, that's just it. They can't even do that, mind you. You go through the Siege of Rax and you actually follow through how often that regiment gets absolutely lambasted. You go, there's only meant to be 40 dudes left. But you have changed everything. That's me. Either way. What is happening?
I don't know. Everything's happening.
Honestly, everything is happening. I mean, I can go on about like how it's just pissing me off. You've got the Straits, like of oil, then that's affecting the food production, that's affecting the wages, living, cost of living, but yada yada yada. But yeah,
You know what my favorite thing is?
please go on.
It's the idiocracy of people in my country.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's we are really, 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 really far ahead of renewable energy research and deployment in Australia. So much so that we're currently building a ginormous solar array in the outback, in the desert, where there's nothing for it to affect, to create power to power Singapore. If you haven't heard about that, now you have. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Now, despite everything, and despite the government even urging towards an EV future, like electric vehicles for Australia and whatnot, providing more access to EV companies in Australia and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like people, the petrol heads specifically, seem to think that EVs haven't changed from 2001.
Okay.
Like you can get like 100k and then their batteries are dead and then you need to charge them up for a week before you can use them again. This is how these people are thinking. This is the era that they're thinking.
Yeah.
Not that, practically everyone in Australia has solar panels on their roof, at a minimum a 3 kilowatt system, right?
Yeah.
Long story short, but our energy bills should be a lot lower than they are, but I'm not going to go into it. But the fact that you could install a battery wall at your home, in your garage, install a charging station in your garage for your car, and thus every day, with the EV technology that's currently available, 800-kilometer ranges on the ones that we're currently getting.
Yeah.
I could drive from Adelaide to Melbourne.
Fucking hell, yeah.
So the next closest city I could drive to in this country. And I realize for you, that's like 17 countries.
Yeah, like it's across Europe.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I do agree, and it's again like it makes perfect sense for Australia to go down that route.
And not only would that reduce the reliance that we need on, crude oils, petrol imports, and things like that, it would. And I can't remember. Where's Oslo?
Norway.
I think it was Norway already has an electric bus system. Yeah. People in comments, like on these comments are happening in our news channels, right? Of people going back and forth. Like, I came back from Oslo last year from Norway, and I couldn't believe how quiet it was when a bus would go past and they basically made hardly any noise because there wasn't a diesel engine in there.
Yeah.
And it's like, how much quieter? Quieter cities, nicer, health problems going down because of, less pollution and stuff. I mean, we're already a pretty green country as it is, ironically. For a very red country, we're very green. But like, it doesn't make any sense why people are so avidly. And then the annoying part comes in, because I snoop on people, and and I'll look at their profiles, and 1 in every 6 people who's for petrol engines and stuff, guess where they come from?
They're still Australian, right? Don't tell me they're American.
These
So
Americans are coming into Australian news channels, seemingly targeting EV ones specifically, talking about whenever something talks about EVs and going off on pushing that EVs suck.
So I understand that the EV culture in the US hasn't exactly progressed thanks to their own problems. And again, apologies, tacos. I don't mean to always be picking on you and your country. I mean, hell, I could even turn around and say like the United Kingdom hasn't really made good progress when it comes to EVs.
So there hasn't been a lot of progress. I mean, there has been progress made here, yes, with electronic vehicles for sure, but you don't see it as prevalent because specifically because of oil companies. They stand to lose not millions, billions, trillions of dollars by, I mean, if think about that.
Yeah.
Even globally, I mean, if the whole planet, if tomorrow, just like that, the whole planet decided, you know what, we're no longer using gasoline, within 1 year, we are going to shift all completely over to lithium batteries.
Yeah.
You would not have anything going on in the Middle East right now. There would be no major war wanting to break out because that's all specifically about oil. Nobody's going to need oil if you shift over. So, I mean, it is a $1 trillion industry. That's why you don't see the progress really moving forward. Then you couple into the fact that, I mean, take a look at what it takes to extract lithium for the batteries.
Yeah.
What that does to the environment. It's not any worse than drilling for oil. And, both of them are equally as bad. I think that if you really want to be for the environment, you've got to, and this would be an impossible thing to do, but if you really want to be for the environment, you would have to drastically shift your day-to-day thinking, your day-to-day activities. Working, you would have to walk to work, which means you'd have to find a job that's within walking distance of where you currently live. You'd have to, I mean, hey, as stupid as this sounds, go back to the Flintstones version of vehicles, ride bicycles.
Yeah, I mean,
basically.
We do have a electric public transport system that's already on the trains and trams. So buses are the only thing that need to now be transferred over to electric.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is even with EV and the batteries, I mean, like I said, take a look at what that does, just to get lithium, that type of battery system, take a look at what that does to the environment. So, I mean, there's nothing, either one, there's arguments on both sides. The oil companies can blast the electrical company can lambast, the gasoline. I mean, it's just the only way to surefire stop it, like I said, ride a bicycle.
Yeah, and I think you do touch on the point, which is at the end of the day, I think it's the crux of what we are more or less all in agreement of, which is like we need to just lower the general footprint that's being had.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, I've switched it over to a hybrid car, not because of like the environment and all that. That was a nice side benefit. The win for me was I have to pay less money because I get to switch between using petrol and having an electric car that I can switch in between to lengthen the life of the petrol that I do buy. But I am then also, I'm only driving a certain distance till I can get on a public transport bus that will take me to work. Now that difference is something that sometimes catches me by surprise at how many people can fit inside of a double-decker bus. Like that's it's a lot, like 70 odd people, but it often makes me think, like each person in this queue, like let's just say they're like 50 people, that's 50 cars that wouldn't need to go into the city.
Right.
And the parking lot is big enough that you can easily have like people going backwards and forwards during the rush hours without it having an impact.
Can you imagine how big would our thighs be if that's all we did was ride bicycles to and from anywhere we went or walked?
I mean,
we'd have muscular like thighs like trees.
I mean, yeah. I mean, depending on like how far away that you live. I mean, for my distance, yeah, I definitely have grown up. If you live a bit closer, then yeah, you adjust accordingly. There are other aspects that we probably can't touch too much, like agriculture will need some form of like very potent engine to actually do its job, or we would almost have to like. Okay, Seraphis, do correct me.
So it's kind of like with the mining industry. You'd think it needs a big heavy motor, except that as of 2019, was it Swiss? I think it was a Swiss mining corporation has been using e-dumpers, so the electronic vehicle EV versions of the big dump trucks carrying like 60, 80 tons of dirt up and down. And what they do is they use friction on the brakes for the way down to recharge the batteries for the trip back up, and can go all day without needing to ever need to recharge.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can technically... I went to an agricultural school. I know about farming stuff. Basically, there is a way you can basically apply that same mechanic to farming loaders as well. Farming tractors and such.
Okay.
But it is entirely possible. And depending on, again, where in the world the farming stuff is taking place, like, for example, in Australia, generally, very big skies, very intense UV light from the sun. Solar is still always an option for the roof panel option to keep the battery charged up enough with the friction coming from the farming rotors that pick the crops as well. So there's a lot of mechanics in there, but yes, that's still
I didn't even think that far ahead. The main thing I was thinking of is like, okay, well, what about other aspects that I vaguely am aware of? Because food is one of them. Turning it around and then looking at places like England, Denmark, and the like, is like, okay, well, we don't exactly bathe in sun, do we? But we've got other sources. At least Denmark, we've got wind, which is something that we've got massive wind farms that we harvest from the sea. I've seen a couple of people in the UK where they said, like, I bought this piece of land specifically because there's a stream, so they've built their own dam to then generate effectively a minor dam where they can just force or generate the pneumatic force. They basically push through water into a rotary to generate electricity that way. Again, that's brilliant. And that's something that you can almost, again, if you're near a source of water, that's something that can be done. And rivers especially, because there are a lot of minor rivers in the UK where you can basically say, right, let's go and do this. Let's set this up. I think there's even a few dams where, again, make use of the hydronic powers you could generate from this. There's other concepts of put fans down at the bottom of the sea to then be generated from the currents going backwards and forwards. I don't know how feasible that is, but again, these are concepts. I'm not opposed to that, and I'm pretty sure if we had the technology, we can even get geothermal energy. Or if we're desperate, I mean, hell.
Well, Iceland already does.
Yeah, true. But again, you've got to be able to tap into that geothermal power, because just drilling straight down, the tools are usually going to break before you actually reach anywhere feasible for that.
I'm pretty sure they spent a lot on developing those geothermal stations to begin with. So.
They did, yeah. But then even then, like I know that like nuclear energy is still a thing that it has for the amount that you take versus the amount of energy you produce. Astronomical. Like it is one of those things like you can really power up entire regions with the little green rocks, which again they're not green, but like you get what I mean.
Yeah, and we're sitting on the largest deposit of those little silvery cancer sticks. So
Yeah.
Which fun fact?
Yeah.
So random fun fact. We'll go back to you in just a second. The red soil of the outback, when you compact it into an almost clay level and put the spent radioactive rods into it and seal it up in a barrel, I think it's like 10 years, the radioactive decay will have gone back to normal and you can reuse the rods.
That was actually the thing I wanted to bring up is like the recycling of nuclear waste.
Yeah.
From what I understand, like that is actually something we're exploring thoroughly these days.
Yep. We've known about that since 2007. The University of Sydney Nuclear Research Department had discovered that after like a 10-year research cycle, and ever since they've been reproducing it ongoing as their continued show that we could be recycling spent radioactive rods, and this is how we can do it safely because there's something weird about Australian dirt or outback Australian dirt. Who knew? The rest of the country's weird. Why wouldn't the dirt be?
Might be a part of explaining why everything else wants to kill you. Australia is just Catachan in real life.
Hey now.
That's a compliment.
They wish.
Yes, that is true. Catachan's got shit when it comes to what Australia has to deal with.
Especially if we start adding in the megafauna that existed literally during the time of Gilgamesh. Which just makes me wonder, was there just like randomly popping in and out of existence megafauna that was still living in Australia, just suddenly appearing in like Mesopotamia, and then here is someone going, "Oh, we'll write about this."
It's insane.
Anyway,
enjoyable. Again, I've already told you guys about my games. Unless there's more we want to talk about for recycling.
No, it's up to you.
Apparently, I'm leading this show. Hello, everyone. It may be run by Servus the Space Pirate, but it is actually Saxius the Taxius that shows up and runs the show.
Oh, do you want your Saxius tag then?
Thank you. Thank you, slave. You're learning what your position is. Of course, my lord. Next slide. So, as I was mentioning, you guys off streaming a little bit before, my rogue trader group, we didn't have a captain, we didn't have the navigator or the XO, but I was still gonna have a game because I'm like, I just need 3 people to show up and we're gaming.
Yeah.
Even if it's a beach episode, we're gaming. Like I need my fix. Which is good because they have been looking for like effectively what I've created is like is 2 systems that sort of orbit each other and travel their way through. And the cool thing about it is like when I had my random generator that uses the rogue trader rules, like roll them up, I was like, oh, this one is like mega rich, but I want to make it even more richer, so I like really boosted out like how much resources it had. And the concept being that like this is actually meant to be like a place that people want to go and colonize. But I was like, well, there has to be a catch here. So I'm like, cool. What's the catch? It's going to be Necrons. So I put a Necron outpost there because my concept is like, right, the Necrons, they still need raw resources. This place is so abundant, like they're just tapping into it, having it processed and sent back to like the actual home world. Because the Necrons got that awesome thing where like they can just teleport across vast different distances, which I've never really bothered to look into because Necrons were never my favorite factions. But they're pretty sweet monsters to throw at your players. So the players were effectively, when they were doing the scans, I kept telling them, you're getting a lot of interference because there's so much minerals on the planet. You go and scan the place, you are being told, here's a bunch of fauna. And by the way, would you like to know about the nickels, coppers, and other things? And they're like, no, filter that out. Because they knew that it was rich. That was mega rich. They're like, okay, fine, we get it. There's a lot of metals we can extract, but what's the organic side? Where can we put up civilizations? And that they struggled with because they kept on being told, like, this is a wonderful place if you would like to mine. I'm like, yeah, but where can we live? They eventually found some places, and they're like, okay, one of them is at a site where there is a rejuvenation site, or a rejuvenation, what's it called, spot. Effectively, the thing that you can extend out your life. So they're like, money. Just look at the money flowing out of the water of the ground here. We must secure this. There was another place where I kept on describing like all of these like plants. It was like, oh, they are all lined up really well here, but like they don't fit into like the rest of the environment, which is a bit more wilderness grown. Not entirely sure why. No one asked questions. What's up, Tigers?
He's just homing.
So no one really asked too many questions as I was giving them these hints that there are areas of where people were living. Eventually, like again, they rolled despite all the penalties that they were getting, and they managed to effectively find like, hey, we got a picture, but like it looks like there's stones that's been lined out to look like the Aquila. That's a bit strange. Let's go down there. Went down there. They were met by Procto-Roman people with like spears and swords going, it's a steel dragon. As they landed, talked to them, they learned like, oh, they're very religious. They were taken to their leader. They met the leader. They sort of learned and talked with them. And what they were, once they then got to like actually discuss with the people there, they were shown some of the religious frescoes that the place has. Now, I'm just going to quickly share my screen here. So this is what I had found. And I was like, that's brilliant. I am going to base this entire encounter around that. Any comments, Seraphis?
No, I think I commented enough last week.
Yeah. So this is what they came across, and they kept on referring to the Admech as like the Red Angels. And there was always discussions like, oh, the Red Angels comes once every 100 years, the same time when the Necrons wake up. They take away some of the Necrons, but then they take away like thousands of the humans. So they're like, oh, okay, well, guess that's a power of our protection then. And I also found some other wonderful things like this, which was a tapestry that the players were given, as well as this, which is something I just decided, fuck it. Just look at it.
Well, and you've already got the miniature for that too.
So not that exactly, but similar.
Yeah, it's close enough.
Yeah, it's close enough.
I mean, same color.
Exactly. So yes, they got to meet like the barons, the elected king, the theologians, the entire 9 yards, which was good. So they got to like learn about it. But more importantly, after the players are sitting there like, oh my god, it's a tomb world, they actually went through all the stories and like, oh wait, they're mainly fighting scarabs, and only if they get really deep into the tunnels do they fight warriors. This could be an outpost. Wonderful. So they were going to go, I'm not going to go up there yet, they were going to go and do an expedition. So they gathered up a bunch of like red shirts and sent them down there who got a bunch of readings, including the actual reading of the Necron energy. So they're like, good, we got that. We did a bunch of like geological search. They found some tunnels that will lead them to the heart piece of the Necron outpost. Fantastic. So they're like, right, let's round up like 20 of our elites. I'm like, okay, well, your elites have got like these different kind of equipment. Like, what do you put them in? It's like the best equipment. I'm like, I know exactly what you mean by the best equipment. Do not worry your pretty little minds. You have said enough. Which means that like, the elites, the Oathsworn, the shock troopers are wearing power armor. Now, the rules regarding power armor is that you become one size larger. You become a hulking human that is going to be making your way down underground into small tunnels. But wait, I could there be more that the players could do? Yes. Because I asked them, like, okay, what weapons are you bringing along? And one of the players like, oh, we don't have any melter weapons. To which another player just went, yes, we do. I have here on my Excel sheet all the weapons that I've been secretly buying. And the players are like, you've been secretly spending money without telling anyone? Don't worry about it. And they basically just went down there like 20 of these soldiers, half of them having hotshot las guns attached to them, the other one running around with melter guns. So I'm just going to scroll up here so you can see just how big these chunkers people are, how meaty they are, as they're going to have to squeeze their way through here.
So there's plenty of opportunities for the players to kind of bottleneck and funnel.
Yes.
If they're smart.
Oh, honey. Players and that dirty word does not go hand in hand.
I know this.
So they came in here. Now they were making their way up along here, and then a scarab basically came crawling up and along with, oh, hello, I see someone having moved around here. To which this gentleman goes, oh no, I better shoot it with my melter gun. Whips it out, rolls a 95. Oh boy. He shoots into the wall here, causing a collapse of the what's called rock formations above him. Passes his save and runs out, but blocks everyone else from coming in. So they now have to run all the way down and along here, come in here, where there are 3 other scarabs who are busy mining, and they go, ooh, we are seeing intruders, and they go through. Now, those of you who have not done any form of reading when it comes to the Necrons and how they operate when weirdos and random, what's it called, cookie-selling scouts shows up at their home, they have an alert system, which is that gradually but assuredly they become more violent the more they realize you are not supposed to be here. Go on, Tacos. Speak.
So this is where my mind goes.
Go on.
Okay, so this is knee deep in or waist deep or neck deep in Necron territory, right?
Yes, like this is like the outpost. Okay. This is like yeah.
Jump back. Actually, first off, can you zoom out on that map so we can see the whole thing? Okay, perfect.
That's the introduction.
That's perfect. Okay, now jump back to that first fresco that you showed us, the first screen. Yeah, that one. Okay, so the word that jumps out at me is that venerable villagers on Benedicto 5677 discovered an iron xeno creature sleeping in a cave. Okay, so xeno creature immediately makes me think of aliens, xenomorph. Yeah. Okay, but in the world of 40K, it's Tyranids. And that's basically what Tyranids were they were aliens that Games Workshop pulled and threw into their game.
Yeah.
Now, we know that canonically, Tyranids and Necrons battle. They go head to head. But here's my theory, right? Here's what if it were me as the DM, this is what I would do. Necrons also are going to have respect for the Xenos, for the Tyranids, because they see how vicious and how unrelenting they are in their attack. So me as a Necron, I want to create my own version. I'm going to create an iron Tyranid, a machine-run Tyranid.
Right.
So now jump back to the map. So my thing, I would put in there somewhere, that's what the Xeno creature was a Necron-created Tyranid.
Okay.
And then there's going to be hundreds more that just pour out, a factory, if you will. Something like that, yeah.
So, I get what you're coming from. I'm kind of playing a bit into that aspect, but not entirely. It's like sticking to the Warhammer 40k. So these things are called scarabs. They are like the workers, the ants of the Necron. So they are the ones like that I'm going to be populating. I'm going to go back and like repopulate this place now that I can see how easy the players can take them on. Right. So there's going to be a lot of them. And they're going to form into hordes. Now, hordes are a nasty thing because like that means like it's like 10 of them, but they're one big unit. So they come at you. And then they'll, like, you have to do like X amount of damage going past their armor and so on to then to deal with that, which is nasty. But more worse is that if you deal with these guys as a horde, if you don't have a weapon that has power armor or is a power weapon, you have a 75% chance that they will straight up eat your weapon and you lose it. So they're going to come at them. You've then got the warriors, which are currently sleeping around here, and I'll get to them in a bit. But at the very depth of this place, there is the spider. This thing, as Seraphis will know, is terrifying because it can produce these things in large quantities.
So you've got the alien queen producing face huggers.
Exactly. So this is a very large, big monstrosity that produces all these things. This is the brain of this entire operation. Like this entire thing is meant to be like a artificial outpost that its entire job is just to go and harvest resources, teleport it back to the mother home where they will use it to maintain their things. Now that the players are here, the protocols, the way it works is that the scarabs are going to be like, oh, well, what are you? I'm going to go over and try and take you apart. Oh, yeah, I could take you apart. You're not a problem. I will not wake up anyone else. So the scarabs are naturally curious. They are invasive. It's an invasive species, so to say. Now the players have come in. They've killed one over here. They came in here. There was another 3 of them. They came in and just went boom, 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 boom. Take them out really quickly. Now, the death of a scarab tells the spider that something is coming in and harming the system. So it's like, right, that's a problem. So it will basically look at that and go like, oh, things are taking it out. That's a problem. I am going to wake up the warriors to go and deal with it. So given the parameters of where they were, it went, right, closest warrior is here. Initiate the boot up for that to happen. Now, this character, the Adeptus Mechanicus, was literally standing there as the lights went on. And they went, I don't like that. Can I use my... Actually, no, I don't want to use any skills for this, Oscar. I just want to take cables and rip them out. I don't know what I'm doing. But I will do something. I'm like, that's fine. Do a random roll. They rolled quite well. They rip it out and they slow it down. They're like, yay. And then I told them, by the way, you can now see they've switched from LAN cables to Bluetooth boot up. And you've only delayed by 1 turn. And they're like, yeah, no, shit. Get the big guy in, rip the sarcophagus off, or the thing that was protecting them in this little lid, see that the alien has a gun, and go, I'm going to take the gun away, because we don't want that thing to have a fair fight. And they then turn to the soldier, who is in big hulking armor, get your melter gun up and shoot it point blank, which he does. But here's where the system is so delicious that I love it. You see, you can have a melter gun, which ignores X amount of armor, and it doubles if you're very close. Cool. This soldier here doesn't have any armor that lowers the damage. Fine. But he does have toughness. And his toughness is so unnatural that it doubles. Which means that whatever damage he takes, he reduces that damage by 8 points. Now, I happen to have rolled the damage for the soldier right here. 20 points, minus 8, 12, and he has 20 hit points in total. So what?
That doesn't seem like a lot.
When he can reduce all damage in total by 14.
Ah, gotcha.
Because
gotcha.
He only reduced like his armor by 6. He's only got 6 armor, and then that's it. Like that's the armor.
So if I'm doing 7 points of damage, he's taking none of it.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. I'll follow you. I got you.
So you've then got like penetration, which is like your weapon like penetrates armor up to X amount of points. So he's got armor of 6. So, and this weapon that he shot had like armor penetration of 12. It becomes double if you're standing within 3 meters of the person. So even though you're doing 24 points of armor penetration, it just means you strip away the armor. Your natural toughness still reduces the damage unless you've got other abilities or traits that directly targets a person's toughness. So what this player basically got to see is that this Necron, without his weapon, was bathed in the equivalent of plasma fire, and the thing stands up and basically locks eyes with the other player, with the sole intention of like, I am about to strangle you with my now bright yellow hands, because you have now heated me up and I don't feel pain. And that's where the players turned around and said, I get my alarm whistle and I blow into that because I am in danger. That's where the session ended, but that's what they're dealing with. Now, this guy, because he's alive, and the player failed to recognize what was happening at the moment. But what was actually happening is that the eyes of the Necron basically went beep, 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 communicating back to the spider. This is bigger than one soldier. We need more.
Right.
And the attack has now told him, we actually need to wake up a lot more, because these guys actually have done damage. And the previous occupants that we've been fighting has not been able to do that. So, all the other Necron warriors are going to wake up, and they're going to start marching upon them. And there's going to be more of these scarabs that's going to be released out. And effectively, the player's going to have to deal with the Necrons waking up preemptively. I'm just going to show you what damage these things can do. Because you've got the Gauss weapons. It's only got a penetration of 2, but it does, 1d8, 1d10 plus 8 points of damage. It's going to hide the damage rolls here. So you can have something along the lines of Oh wait, no, that's that. This one. Damage. We'll just say 1.
Is that 1d10 plus 8?
So yeah, so that's 1d10. This is for the strength if they were to fight with melee. The 8 comes from their strength.
Gotcha.
So the damage for this one is like 1d10 plus 8, yes.
Gotcha.
Then they do penetration of 5, which means for most of the players, they might just survive, but like
and how many of those are they gonna are in that cavern?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I've got like 7 at the moment.
And are they would the players be facing them off like one at a time, or?
Oh no, they're gonna come in waves.
Okay.
They're gonna come in waves. So like they're gonna come in there, but worse is that I'm going to have more of these scarabs spawn and rise up. So there's gonna be like 2 of these Necrons that comes up, but every time they take damage, these scarabs are gonna crawl up on them and start repairing them.
Right.
Meaning they will heal. but the warriors have got this other thing. See, they have a talent, which is that they have regeneration of 5, which means every new turn they regenerate 5 hit points. Not accounting for the repairments that the scarabs can do, which can give them half of their repairments, so 2 other points. So they can heal 7 points per turn, if not more. And they don't die when they go to 0 hit points. They just go back to sleep. And then they have to roll their toughness, or they have to roll to see if they can wake back up. And if they do, then they wake back up with 2 hit points. And then they start regenerating 5 hit points per turn thereafter, meaning they won't stop coming to kill you.
Oh, yeah, of course. Why would they stop?
I'm excited about the coming session, as you can see.
Well, sure. Now, do you have a one specific, like in D&D we call it the big bad evil guy? Do you have one specific big bad evil guy for this battle?
So if they want to like take it all down, it's this one that they've got to take down. Now it is. I'm just gonna check that they. Yeah, I don't think the players are here. Nope.
I mean, you don't have to go into the detail on it. I'm just curious.
Yeah, so this is it.
You don't want to reveal anything.
No, I'm fine with revealing it. I don't think any of my players
3d10 plus 8.
Yes. Yeah, it is 3d10 plus 8. So that's the ranged weapons. The melee weapon, hiding it, is something like, again, penetration of 4 is like your average armor, like your average like slab of metal that you will wear. But then it can do like 31 points, and the average human has got 12, 14, 20, 20. And here's where it gets delicious. You don't die when you hit 0. You go into what's called the critical. When you go into critical, that's where you're going to have like arms and legs being ripped off.
Right.
And there is a delicious talent, which I'm trying to quickly find here. No, I can't find it here. Is it the warriors who has it? Yes, it is. So if the warriors are shooting them and you go into negatives, every time you go into negative, you have to add a +2 to whatever result you get, because their weapons do so much damage that they make the wounds worse for you. It's like, oh, I only got a -3. I'm just knocked out. It's like, no, you got a -5. Oh, I have a massive hole in my stomach now.
You ought to add in there that the Necrons have like a fail-safe no survivors, because I mean they'll just repair themselves, you know, if like like some kind of massive explosion that gets detonated, right? That'll just wipe out all the humans. The Necrons don't care because they'll just rebuild themselves.
Exactly. So the plan is like for the players is like, okay, if they wake up the Necrons, which is kind of into motion right now, depending on like how they act. Like if they run away now, the Necrons are gonna like try to do a bit of hunting, but ultimately they're gonna go right. They're gone. Come back. Be on alert for the next decade or so, and they go back to sleep.
Yeah.
But if they come back, which they probably will, they're going to go, oh, they're trying to do hit and run. We know how to deal with that. And then they're going to start hunting them down. They're actually going to start coming out and like properly fight them. And they're going to try and figure out like where are the other ones. And if they learn where the other humans are, they're going to start tunneling their way over there and attack the human settlements. Now, the human settlements, as I said, they are in the Roman era. They're going to be fighting them with like steel weapons, maybe the occasional like flintlock or like Lee Enfield gun. They can't damage them, full stop.
Hey, Sax.
Yeah.
I'm gonna send a link to something in Discord, and just think of it, if you will, as potentially inspiration for something for the Necrons.
I mean, I am never opposed to making my players suffer.
Just because I love your players so much.
So this is what I've got going here for all of this. I'll open that later so nothing's revealed. Oh, actually, I think it might not. Yeah, it won't show. Oh, that's nice. Thank you for that. I like a lot.
I'm just saying, like, your players, and Tucker's gave a good idea, something xenomorphy, but like, they already have a theme, and I feel like that kind of goes along with the theme. That
it does go along with the theme.
I
think I'll have to find something of the equivalent to then stat it up, or maybe I'll just use that picture for the spider instead. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, I just did an AI image mock of something like that. If you want me to send it to you,
if you don't mind, yeah. Yeah, so that's what's going on with my 40k game, and I have to say, like, I really enjoyed this. There's a lot of fun. To briefly sort of show like this is why the players are like wanting this system.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of minerals, as you can see. But to explain the full depth of like why this is like a big deal. So industrial metals, just in the asteroid belt of like 1,735. You're like, okay, well, why is that important? You could do a mechanic that's called exploitative resource extraction. Basically, you strip mine the area so much, you permanently reduce how much resources are available. You lower the resources by 1d10 points, and you gain 1d5 profit factors. Now, one profit factor is the equivalent of like $1 billion. Like it's a lot.
And is that a lot even for 40k terms?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like that's the equivalent of like you having like that. That is quite a sizable amount.
Oh, geez. Yeah. I mean,
I am using that.
How do you survive that?
So
you don't.
The reality is, the reality is that the players are humans in this aspect.
Yeah.
The Necrons, I am using the lowest tier creatures that you can meet. Technically, I am only including the spider because I'm like, this is probably the weaker guardian or the weakest guardian I could pick a wraith who would warp in and out of reality and sneak attack the group, and they would never stand a chance.
Right.
And I was like, no, that's not going to be fun. So I'm going to take the spider because it makes sense. It's meant to be like the hive mind. It's meant to be overseeing productions and workings and all of that. This is meant to be a mining site and an outpost. They are not meant to have like that extreme caliber of defense.
Right.
And even the spider, if you open up the characteristics, it has got 75 hit points, 8 armor class, and then a toughness of 15. So in total, you're looking at like 23 points of damage being reduced before you can do any form of damage.
Right.
You're going to be struggling to do damage to this thing. But that's the point. Like, this is meant to be a really big and terrifying thing. It's going to have weapons that can absolutely obliterate the players, and it's meant to be scary. Fine, that's okay. That's the point of this. But the average Imperial citizen is not going to have the weapons to deal with these things. These creatures are meant to be taken on by the Space Marines, or you're meant to be like the players, heavily armed with weapons that the average person doesn't have access to, like plasma weapons, melt weapons, the abilities to call upon psychic powers beyond comprehension. Like, these are things that only players can take on. And what I'm showing you is like the lowest tier, as Seraphis can probably confirm. This is the lowest tier of what the Necrons actually have at their disposal.
Pretty much. Even a destroyer would probably annihilate the entire group.
Oh, yeah. We do horrific things to them. So the warriors are terrifying because, like, again, they won't die. They're going to keep coming back. The scarabs, you can kind of kill them. So they don't regenerate, but like if you destroy them, they just all go boop, like they turn into energy and disappear. So it's like, okay, well, shit. Difficult to fight. And then you're gonna have like the spiders, who are like genuinely like terrifying creatures that's gonna come up and rip you apart and just ignore you. And they will have scarabs that's going to heal them in return, yada yada yada. So it's meant to be a big fight. It's meant to be difficult. It's meant to be one of those things where the players are like, okay, we have to... Because the general tactic is you have to find the mainframe and destroy or shut that down so that the wider colony of the Necrons goes back to sleep. So it's always a race to get into the center of the outpost, find the off switch, plant a giant bomb there and go, blow it up and run away. That's the concept behind that.
And as Dawn of War Dark Crusade proved, if you fuck it up, it goes very badly.
It does indeed go very badly, yeah. And again, this is the outpost. Should the Canoptech spider turn around and go, this is now beyond my abilities, I will now warn the homeworld of what is happening and await your instructions. Said instructions are likely going to be everyone go into the portal, return home, and then we're going to send some higher caliber beings to go and deal with this via ships.
That's when the sky starts filling with additional crescent moons.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. That's what I've been up to. I may just need to quickly just pop out if that's all right.
Yep.
All right, be right back.
Oh, that one turned out really good. Anyway. So have you gone to see the new Star Wars movie?
Haven't seen it. No. I don't I don't know. I mean, I'll watch it, when it hits Disney, Disney Plus or something, but I just honestly, man, I just don't like going to movie theaters anymore.
Yeah.
It's too expensive. I mean, and for us, a decent movie theater is like 2.5 hours away. So you throw in a 5-hour drive, the gas that's required for that, plus we have to eat food. 3 of us going. At a certain point, it's not feasible to spend $150 to go see a movie. Nah, I can just throw some hot dogs on the grill and or in the microwave for that matter, and we can eat hot dogs and watch movies on our own TV. Just wait a little bit. So no, I mean, I've heard a little bit about it, and I've heard that it kind of goes both ways. I mean, in what I mean, that is that some people really like it, other people don't.
I'm just having a look at how much.
I don't think it's doing very good.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of mixed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just for 2 adult tickets, it'd be about just over $50 for us.
And how far away is the theater?
Oh, like a 7-minute bus ride.
Okay. So, so if gas wouldn't cost you anything, would y'all eat dinner beforehand at home or out?
Oh, maybe out. But I mean, it's at a shopping center, so there's a food court you can easily go to.
Yeah. So, assume another, be conservative, $10 per meal?
Probably more like 15.
Okay. So now let's see. So now you're at $80. Would you get drinks or snacks in the theater? Popcorn?
Oh, probably.
So that's going to be easily another $20 each, right?
Yep.
So $110. That's what you're looking at. $110.
So what do we move on to?
Oh, just talking about movies.
Fair enough.
Oh, how much it costs to go to the movies.
Haven't been in years. The last thing I can say before we can move away from my deviant tree or deviantception.
Yep.
The planet, because what I had done for the Roman people, the entire system has got this thing where you are more likely to go insane because there's so much. The current of the warp is so active that you have a lot of negative thoughts naturally occurring in your mind, which, as you can imagine, if you're having a lot of anxiety, you start being very critical of yourself, like that sort of thing, it's going to drive you a bit nuts. So the way that's being counteracted is that people, the humans here, have developed extraordinary, a very religious aspect towards the Imperial Creed to counteract that. And the players picked up we're having like weird moments of like being unhappy, all of this. But the moment we came to this place, like, because they're so religiously fervent and they're so like regular worshipment, like every morning, every afternoon, every evening, like we pray, like there's this like counteract towards the chaos, which is good. Because the player who is the navigator wasn't here. What I need to quickly write up for the priest is that they are extraordinarily like hateful towards mutants. So if the players had gone down there and the navigator would have said, "I'm the leader of this," the entire human civilization is like, "You've put a mutant in charge of your house. You cannot be pure."
I mean, yeah.
And they would be like, "We're not talking to you. We're not dealing with you as the navigator. We will talk to the person who actually seems to understand the creed, which is your priest." Also, because one of the player who was the priest to actually like have a moment to shine, to go and do his thing. So I'll quickly write up some things for him so that he can be like, "Oh yeah, by the way, probably need like humans to reflect this." So that was what I wanted to quickly share, because there's a lot of mechanics in the game where it's like, if someone understands that like you are a rogue trader, they will understand like, oh, I need to show him deference and be respectful towards him. Well, what if they didn't understand or care? And all of your abilities are gone.
Oh dear.
I do like the second picture that you just made there.
I haven't been using my tokens lately, so I figured I tried to mock something up. So
yeah. Yeah, I might just change the picture out for that, for the spider. Well, that's it for me. I've got my Call of Cthulhu tonight. The last session, the players got drunk. Well, 3 of the players got drunk. Loudly proclaimed, "We have guns on us. We are walking around with weapons." And they were surprised that the police showed up at the ship that they're at. Like, "Yeah, no, we've heard reports that apparently you have guns." I'm like, yes, we do. They're all locked away. Here's the cargo manifest. I'm like, "That's great. People off your ship say that they have guns on them." It's like, "Oh, we don't know about that." So they had a police group stand outside their ship, patting down everyone who came back, until like the drunk players mustered back up into the ship at like midnight, carrying like all these books that they just randomly bought because they were drunk, and they were chasing down Arabs for some reason. Like, why are you chasing them down? It's like they know things.
Because they're Arabs?
Yeah. Well, the entire thing was like, I had set up this thing of like there were meant to be 2 Arab individuals who were describing all the players of like eerie details and like leaving behind breadcrumbs. That there's actually a cult that's aware that they are. What's it called? There's a cult that's aware that the players are going to go and explore something, so they want to stop them.
So, okay. And I know we've got 10 minutes left, and I feel like this is a conversation that'll greatly extend past 10 minutes. So maybe a thought for a future Talking Drek. But has there ever been any connection between 40K and Cthulhu? Like, not necessarily specifically Cthulhu in 40K, but like, it seems like I kind of vaguely remember
The answer is yes. There is a lot of Lovecraftian inspirations within Warhammer that's taken from H.P. Lovecraft, but Warhammer is a hodgepodge of many points of inspiration, anywhere from Dune, Judge Dredd, reflections of World War One,
Right.
H.P. Lovecraft, and Moreland. The
And of course, Terminator, Aliens. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like they've stolen from everything, and now they claim that they have an IP right to all of them. I'm like, yeah, they won't stop trying, and I don't appreciate them as a company for how they target creatives.
Yeah.
Because I specifically remember many like decades ago now, a webcomic artist was told by Games Workshop that because he was using the word Tau, T-A-U, that was a thing that they could sue him over. So he just went fine. He just went T-A-A-U. And then that apparently sorted it because there wasn't now that comparison. But then it was later, brought up like they look way too much like Tau. The models, you now have to change how they look. And he just went, you know what? I'm just ending the webcomic. You are making it so distasteful for me to do anything. So I'm now going to go and do my own thing and make up my own races because apparently you can't stand the fact that I like your game, I like your universe. I'm promoting people to go and do that, but you see the fact that web creator had a Patreon and people were giving him money. Yeah. That money is deserved to Games Workshop.
So I just looked it up. So the word Tau comes from ancient Greek, which itself was derived from the Phoenician letter Tau, T-A-W.
Yeah.
So, wait, you want to attempt to sue me because I used an ancient Greek word? Come on.
In association with...
Let's do this.
Yeah. But again, Games Workshop will go, you are going to have to come to a UK court. Like, that is how they operate. They will force you to come to their home turf to fight them where they have got all the precedents set up for them. But again, the United States have got all the rights to protect you. The rest of the world, like this guy was in Portugal, he didn't have any of that. As a matter of fact, there was actually not then, but now there is actually extraditionary. There's rules set up that he could be extradited to the UK if the charges got bad enough.
This is why it's hard to be a fan of things nowadays.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've just reached the point of where we live in cyberpunk, except we don't have the cool cybernetics. We've only got the mega corporations, and
to bring it all back around somehow, and you guys will appreciate this. This is the full circle.
Please.
While we don't have the cybernetics, somehow our vehicles have started getting it.
Well done.
Just not in a bio term of it, just in terms of
Cybertrucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking God.
And then you have this, and I don't know if y'all saw it or not. I did a video a few days back about a new Kickstarter that's coming out for a book where the creators are going to actually provide to you an editable document file that you can go in and change and edit it yourself to however you see fit.
Yep.
I think that needs to become the norm.
So, you get the file, the entire setup, and you can then go in and like adjust things as you play or as you want to fiddle around with the.
Yeah, so like if you decide, oh well, okay, so the book mentions, I don't know, Castle Barovia, for example, and you want to name it to Castle
Kaltenstein.
Sure. Then you can go through and just change it. You know, if you're creating your own homebrew world and that's the name of the predominant castle that's in your world, you can change every instance of that to reflect that. If there's a weapon listed in there that does 1d6 damage and you want it to do 1d10 plus 4 acid damage, you can go in and edit the core file to reflect that.
I'm not opposed to that. That's actually it's quite neat.
Yeah. And then, you know, on top of that, you take it and you can print it out. And now you've got a hard copy of your edited thing. I just think it's kind of cool, kind of a neat idea.
I've got to agree.
I'm sure at some point in the future it will get ruined and monopolized and whatnot, because that seems to be the state of the world. But, you know.
Yeah, but we're past the point of like, we can't have nice things. And we're at the point of like, why buy anything at full price when you can either wait for when it goes on sale, wait a year from now when they've actually made the game worthwhile playing, or someone has decided that, you know what, wasn't worth the money. Now anyone can have it.
Well, when you stepped away for a minute, that's exactly what Seraphis and I were talking about regarding the new Star Wars, the Mandalorian Grogu movie. Yeah. And we determined it's just too expensive to go see it. I mean, and we've heard good things, bad things. You know, some people like it, some people hate it. I want to see it because, hey, Star Wars, you know, I'm a nerd and I'll watch it. But for me, we determined that it's going to cost me somewhere in the neighborhood of about $180 to see it.
What?
Once you add in the gasoline that it takes to drive, I've got a 2.5 hour drive there and back. So that's a 5-hour drive. That's a tank of gas right there. The cost of the movie tickets, the cost of the snacks once you get into the theater, and plus with a 2.5 hour drive, we're going to be hungry. So we got to stop, eat lunch or dinner or whatever. And it's 3 of us going. So yeah, I mean, it gets expensive. Versus, you know, just throwing some hot dogs on the grill or in the microwave and eating hot dogs and on our couch and watching it, you know, when it comes out. So, I mean, we'll just wait. And, I don't know, man, stuff has just gotten too expensive all around.
I agree. We've kind of like gotten to the point of where the bread and circuses that we used to have that we would enjoy has outpriced us.
Yeah.
We're now at a stage where we're being openly told you shouldn't own anything. Like most of the video games that is on my computer these days, I've bought via Steam. Steam has had to be very open and say, you're technically just renting it. Like at the end of the day, we will do what we can to protect you, but they aren't physically yours. Yeah. And even if you do buy the seat, go on.
Well, I'm just going to add to it. Then you take a look at, I mean, just not even from a gaming perspective, but just from all other aspects. For example, we went out last night to eat dinner, went to a Mexican restaurant, and it was actually cheaper for us to go to a sit-down restaurant than it would have been for us to go to Taco Bell. It would have cost us about an extra $15 to go to Taco Bell. It's like, what? In what world does that make sense?
I can do you better. The local pizza joint, ordering from their website, a meal for 2 adults, 2 kids who can be awfully goddamn picky sometimes, but regardless, 2 kids, 2 pizzas, pasta, garlic bread, $40 including delivery.
Wow, that's really good.
McDonald's,
Mm-hmm.
$126.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Yeah.
Excuse me one moment.
No, it's true though. And yeah, like it's just getting to the point where like living is so expensive. You almost don't get to go like,
Yeah.
like I'm not. So let me share something. There's a thing that keeps on popping into my head these days, from things I've seen like a few years ago, where people go, I'm just gonna up and like live in a van. Now back then I'd be like, that's a bit crazy. Now I'm looking, I was like, they seem to be onto something.
I kind of want to just up and live in a van.
Yeah, it's just like,
Yeah.
what would it require? Like, okay, like
Yeah,
I need to get my
yeah.
license upgraded to have a van, then X amount of thousands of bucks to
Yeah.
actually upgrade it. But like, I don't have to worry about rent.
Right.
I don't like. Yes, I still have to do some form of like tax, because in this country, like even if you're homeless, they would still try and tax you.
Sure.
But my main priorities are then going to be, I need to make sure that diesel is being fit into the van, that I know areas
Yeah.
that I can go and sleep in, and then it's just go to the park and ride where I can take the bus, or if I then invest into like an electronic or a foldable, what's it called, bicycle. Well, now I can just bike down to work, and I never have to pay to go into the city. I just need to go back up into my van, and then off into somewhere to then sleep for that night, and then that's it. Just have to find out like how I can have internet so I can actually like go and talk to my friends and do forms of entertainment.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm looking at it like, I mean, I can't do that now because I'm married, I've got a house, and I'm
No, that's my thing. There's no way I could get away with it. I mean, if I was single, I could easily see myself in a van, just roaming the countryside, doing videos, and just living off of that. With not any other worries. I could do that. But yeah, I mean, married, 2 kids.
Yeah, I mean, again, if I was single, if I was at this point in my life singled and all that, I'll be like, well, might as well do it. It'll help my bank account massively. I can actually start turning around and be like, okay, put it all into pensions and what have you, like have something down the line.
Yeah.
Would I have a concept of what to do once I got through the pension stage? No, because if I stayed in the van for that long, it's like why would I change at that stage? Not to mention, go on.
Oh, can I just have a quick catch up on what the topic is?
Oh yeah, we were just discussing like cost of living, and I went, you know what? I've got this like weird fantasy coming up where why don't I just up and live in a van and like just don't have a home, don't pay like house taxes or mortgage, literally just like go from like different districts where I can like park up the van and sleep there, have a roaming like internet or something like that I've seen some other truckers have, and then just that's it, like just completely go off like the mainstream grid, still work, still get an income, but I will cut out so many other costs. Like the big one is probably going to be I have to do like the shops either daily or weekly, and I have to be clever about like how I then store them in a mini fridge, and then everything's eaten within that week. That makes sense. You can do that. You can even get like mini freezers. So it's just about like optimizing the space that you have.
Yeah.
I was like, it's a fantasy that again I'm like, because I'm going through like some of the expenses I have. I'm like, if I did this, I could cut this out. If I didn't, have this brand of car, or if I just said screw it, get a beat up thing and just do this and this, it will save me X amount in this short run. And then the long run, there's going to be other problems. I'm like, okay, well, what poison do I want these days? Like that's the question that we find ourselves. What's the flavor of poison that we want?
Oh, I'm going to go against the grain with you guys and say that I'm too much of a hermit. I just want to sit in my little cave and in one place.
That's fine. I know what you mean. I mean, hell, speaking of all of this, I am, again, not that I can participate in the local politics here, because I have a firm belief that I shouldn't be able to vote, and I stick by my belief. But I am glad to see that like there are actually talks from the various political groups saying maybe Brexit was a dumb idea. Maybe we should return. I'm like, please do. I think it would massively help the economy.
Although I find it ironic that these talks are coming as Farage's party is gaining more local seats.
They've taken like 20%. Like out of like 5,000 seats, they took like 1.5 or 1.7 thousand seats. So he's taken the local government, which, by the way, has got the funniest outcomes of them all, because they've been elected in. They now have to stand in government and read things, and they're being asked questions about the things that they've read, and they stand there like deers in a headlight, look down at the thing, they can't see the answer, they look back up and they go, no comment. They don't know what they're doing. And most of them, a good chunk of them, are people who have run away from the Conservative Party to go over towards Farage's party to boost his numbers. So it's just Conservatives 2.0 or Republicans 2.0. And again, I don't mean to get too political, but in this instance, Farage is a fucking idiot. He's the one he built an entire political platform to initiate Brexit. And when it happens, and the TV crew finds him, he's outside a pub having a drink to celebrate, fine, fair enough, that's been your entire life. Go. They're like, are you going to help steer it? His honest to God answer is, no, that is not my job. My job was to get it to happen. Everything from here is is not my responsibility. I'm like, so you're going to initiate something that's going to have massive consequences, and you're going to have no input in ensuring that you come out on the other side the better way. That is horrific. Now, he wants to have a seat for being the Prime Minister of the UK to fix the economy, and one of his promises was to lower taxes, and the moment his people got into local powers was raise taxes. That was the first thing that they did. No, sirree. We are, the people that are being elected in are imbeciles and idiots, and straight up should not be allowed.
That's like the prerequisite to being a politician, right?
No, because I actually have standards, and I look at them and go, right, I would like to do what one of the Danish politicians.
But that's why you're not a politician.
I know, but that's the thing. Like, I'm of the belief that if you're going to go in there, you're going to get a public servant's salary, which already that's not like, it's not going to be great. And a lot of the positions here in the UK, you have the position, underpaid, overworked, and you need to have your full-time job on the side. So like, it's not encouraging unless you're like doing other things on the side, which most of them are anyway. And yeah, like, it's just
now, if you could only figure out how to do that while living in a van.
Oh, the amazing things that could be done.
So we've been having the same kind of thing happen here, right? The Fonds, the Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party, like PHON, and basically they're best described as the racist element of what the conservative Liberal Party is, right?
Yeah.
So more extreme. And it's kind of funny because somewhere in the last 5 years, basically since COVID, it seems like everyone forgot that about 8 years beforehand, the reason why they got basically killed, except for their one seat, which was held by their leader, the reason why they got killed everywhere else is because they got exposed for being sponsored, and sorry again, tacos. They were getting privately funded by the US. And also someone else. Someone who might have some files that a certain country doesn't want to publicly keep acknowledging. Now, since then, most of Australia has apparently gotten amnesia and forgotten this lovely little fact. But here's the other funny thing. They have a massive track record, and I mean massive track record, of within 6 months, people who join the party as MPs leave the party because of clashes of conflict. Now, the latest push since the last election, which was last year, has seen the One Nation Party growing all across Australia. Here's the thing. Pauline Hanson, her message only works when she is solely in control of it. Her racism, her deflections, her ridiculing the media, but keeping them there to ridicule them. Basically everything you see from like this dude's country.
Mm-hmm.
Like ridicule them, but you keep allowing them to have their camera there. That's her thing. Mostly because guess who one of her new sponsors are? Since the Files man went off. Let me put it this way. She goes to Mar-a-Lago a lot. Yeah. Their president is sponsoring her. Now, here's the fun part. There was a by-election recently, like last month, and her candidate won that seat, which puts a member of One Nation in the lower house. Now, this works exactly like the British stuff, so this should be relatively familiar for you, Sax. Mm-hmm. If you hear anything, we use the Westminster parliamentary system as well, so everything is exactly the same. But here's the thing. This is the first time they've won a lower house seat. The first time. They've only ever won upper house seats, and at the moment, they've only got 2 seats in the upper house in the federal parliament. And she is growing to become prime minister at the next election. That's the aim. Now, I'm bringing this all up because the Farah by-election was a massive shit show of everything that could possibly go wrong for her party. They won, but their devil media that they always keep attacking, the ABC, the party people, so the handlers at the party, at the, like, oh, we're about to win, get the media in and everything. Yep. They threw the ABC out. And one of the other news channels caught on recording Pauline Hanson, who was at the event, go, why are they being thrown out? No, you're not supposed to throw them out. As they were being thrown out. She knows the game that she's playing, the political game that she's playing to get people onto her side. It was caught on camera.
Well, yeah, of course. Like you want the exposure at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to get your message out if you shut down the largest media? Like, they might not be painting you in the right picture, but like you can still play the victim
Yeah.
Hell, like I've seen similar stuff in like Danish politicians, where there's like a super far right political party, which has got like a bunch of members and like one dude who keeps on showing up to parliament because he gets enough votes to be like, oh, I'm gonna go in there. And he does nothing. And he was interviewed a couple of times, and he was caught straight up lying about a bunch of things. And when the people who did the initial interview learned, like, oh, he lied, well, let's go and have a like catch up with him to like understand what it was. He then filmed that interview, and I was like doing the whole like dodging questions, twisting words, and all of that, and posted that like, hey, I'm exposing them for trying to frame me. Look at the documentary they did. They only took snippets. Here's the full thing. I was like, you were being a snake and a rat in your own interview, and you're calling yourself for the winner and a victim. My brother, you should look in the mirror and feel some shame. But it's like, I mean, I'm going to use him and just beat on him for a little bit, because he made the entire thing of like, oh, if you're not from Denmark, you can't be Danish. I was like, well, we've just interviewed a guy who is doing boxing to come up and like represent Denmark. He's a second generation immigrant. He speaks the language natively. He does he's taking on the passport. He has kept to like his Muslim faith because that's his thing. Cool. He's representing Denmark. He believes that this is it. Once his career is over, like once he's done with this thing, he's gonna go and join the army because he wants to prove that no, I am for this country. Like I want to do this. This politician sat there and said, oh, he comes from a very aggressive belief. Islam's a violent country. We're now going to train him up, and he will become even more violent against Denmark. I'm like, he's fighting he's doing a sport that's aggressive on behalf of Denmark. A major part of that sport is understanding that you can't just go and murder people because you're fighting in a very efficient way. And he then wants to go out and then do a further duty beyond what is required by a citizen. And you're calling him for just help.
Well, no, what were you going to say?
It's just one of those things where I'm like, I know that if he was kicked out and not allowed to be a part of politics, that would be a win for him. And the thing is, like, he just needs to be exposed more and more to the light. He's an idiot.
I assume the light of a nuke is what you'd prefer.
Yeah, but I do have some humanity within me still. So at the moment, just like exposing them for being idiots, and well, put it out there in the public and let other people ridicule them, because you are free to say what you want, and other people are free to criticize you. You are not exempt from any of this, which is often the thing that you gotta love when the people go like, I should have the freedom to express myself. Yes, that's a two-way street, right? Boo. Which means I can say shit back to you. What do I know? I don't live in a country where freedom of speech is a thing.
It kind of depends on Australia, because our constitution has implied freedom of speech. Basically, it treats us like we're all adults.
Yeah, that doesn't really exist here in the UK. We've got the Magna Carta, which doesn't really give you that form of rights. There's no legal precedent for it, and there's enough legal situations where people have said certain things on social media, which has been logged, and they've then been given criminal charges, fines, and prison time. Some of them have been really stupid, like someone close to them pass away, or they had a music artist that passed away, and they were like, oh, I quite like them. Let me post some of their lyrics, which included certain words that artist had used. And the person who posted was then fined and given a mark on their record for having committed gross offense. What?
Well, I'm lucky here because I can, thanks to the Supreme Court of Australia, High Court of Australia, I can call any public figure a cunt.
Mm-hmm.
Because the former Prime Minister lost a court case because he tried to sue someone who yelled out that he was a cunt. And so he sued him. But the High Court of Australia was like, well, there's no freedom of speech, but we have implied freedoms to say things, and you are a public figure. And there are things that you need to accept. One of those is criticism.
Mm-hmm.
So, legally, by the High Court of Australia, I can call a public figure a cunt. And it's great. It's something, which is why I use that word a lot.
Yeah.
Also, just because, Australian, because we're going to say cunt.
I think it's fine. I to be very transparent, I've very much sort of taken myself out of like the public discourse because I'm like I don't feel I have a lot to really say. I'll say things here like closed. Well, not really enclosed. It's being broadcasted to the wider world, but I don't think my stances are that radical. I mean, I do have some stances that are quite radical. Like, I stand by this what Denmark used to do, which was if you don't live in Denmark for X amount of years, you don't have your right to vote. You need to return to Denmark, pay X amount of years of taxes, and then you're allowed to vote again. Well, that makes sense because why should you be allowed to vote for a country that you have got no investment into? That's my stance. For especially when I speak to certain Americans or even other British people, they're appalled by it. They're like, "What do you mean? Like you should always have that right to vote?" I'm like, no, I don't think you do. But that's a me thing.
Yeah,
But I
different
apply it to
countries,
me.
different cultures.
Yeah, but I also apply a lot of my beliefs to myself, not to others. Like I don't believe that I should have the right to vote because I am not English here in this country. But that just means that even though technically I have the ability to go out to register and vote for local elections, I choose not to because I believe it goes against what I believe in.
Well, I mean, for example, I can probably say some things about that here. Like, I've always considered our local Pacific partners in our region that we should have a much more laxed immigration policy with them because, you've got countries like, what's it called? Toronto. It's a small archipelago country, country near Fiji.
Right.
But it's currently in the news because the country is currently submerging because of rising tides, and we've opened up immigration passes to people who want to leave and migrate to Australia pretty much for free because we're trying to help them. But people who are remaining are trying to build up sandbars to keep raising, to keep the country alive there. We're sending support for that. I mean, we've got plenty of sand. And, I think that's generally a good thing. But it's one of those... it's one of those things where I would extend it to them Pacific countries, even New Zealand. But the funny thing that I learned was that we already have a free travel system between Australia and New Zealand. That makes sense. What I didn't know is that Australians in New Zealand, after a year, can vote.
Really?
But Kiwis in Australia, after a year, can't vote. They have to become citizens. And I was like, that is stupid. No, they're our neighboring cousins. They should be allowed, if they decide to migrate over here on the, basically the free travel, the visa.
That would be the same for like Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. Like I wouldn't oppose to that at all. Like we have enough cultural intermingling that it makes sense.
Yeah,
of course not the Finns, because why would we?
you don't need that demon medal.
No, we don't. Redheaded stepchild. Which, okay, side tangent. You're familiar with Taskmaster?
The comic book character?
No, there's a show. There's a TV show called
Taskmaster. Yep. Yes.
During one of them, the task was that the contestant was presented like 5 people, all of them blonde, blue-eyed, like all that stereotypical Nordic look, and they're like, find the Finn. When the last Finn has stepped over the finish line, it is finalized. Bless you.
Thank you.
Now, the contestants, not understanding what this actually means, they just do the whole thing of like ask random ass questions, not really doing it. My wife turns and looks at me as I sit there and go, that's not finish. That's the finish. Finn, right there. Get him. And my wife was just like, why? It was like, because they're Finnish. And then there's another episode where they get a Swede in there and they have to communicate with them. And one of the Canadian comedians is like, oh, I'm going to call up this person. That's Danish. Danish and Swedish. That's like the same thing, right? And every time that episode's on, I always go, no, it isn't. It is not. It is not that similar. We have certain similarities, yes, but it is not the same thing. No matter where I am in the house, if I hear that episode, that's the response that comes out. Great stuff. They know what they're doing, which is hilarious, but it is funny. And every time this happens, we watched it not too long ago, my wife just turned around and watched me instinctually go, where is the Finn? I must sniff out this person. My wife has commented that the cultural animosity that there is between the Scandinavian countries was confusing at the start, but she's learned to embrace and find it funny now.
Yeah.
Because like the beginning was like, if it wasn't because all of you were so pasty white, that this would be really wrong. But this is just Scandinavian hate. It's unexplainable. Well, it's similar to Scotland, Wales, and England having their little trifecta of who can hate each other the most. Oh, and Ireland. Northern Ireland, to be specific.
Yeah, Republic of Ireland doesn't really give a crap anymore.
No, I think they've stopped. Anyway, we've been keeping you up quite late, haven't we? You can't. Once you get that Drek flowing into you, you're like a dopamine addict, Seraphis.
Yeah. I mean, technically, it's only 39 minutes over. It's all right.
Yeah, I need to get going.
Yeah. Thank you, Tarkus. Once again, you appear, you bring us the light, and we will soon come to regret it.
I don't know. I reckon.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that's going to happen as soon as we log off.
Dear Lord.
You said it.
I already am regretting what I've said.